Harimi, harimi, al tirai, harimi, al tirai. Imri le'arei Yehuda, hinei Elokeichem. Harimi, harimi, al tirai.
Hello, welcome to Pirkei Avos with Rabeinu Yonah. We are in chapter 3 and Mishnah 17. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, "Im ein Torah, ein derech eretz." If there's no Torah, there is no derech eretz, which here means good character traits. Im ein derech eretz, ein Torah. Without derech eretz, without the proper character traits, there's no Torah. We'll see what that means. Im ein chachma, ein yira. If there's no wisdom, there's no fear. Im ein yira, ein chachma. If there's no fear, there's no wisdom. Im ein bina, ein das. If there's no understanding, there's no knowledge. We'll talk about the difference between das, bina, and chachma soon, with their different types of knowledge and understanding. Im ein das, ein bina. Im ein kemach, ein Torah. If there's no flour, there's no Torah. Im ein Torah, ein kemach. If there's no Torah, there's no kemach. There's no flour. Hu haya omer. He used to say, Kol shechach maso meruba b'masav. Whoever's wisdom is more than his deeds. L'mahu doma. What is he similar to? Le'ilan she'anaf of meruban v'shashav muatim. Is like a tree that has many branches but a few roots. V'haruach ba v'akarto v'afachta apanav. And the wind comes and blows it away and knocks it on its face. Shenemar, as it says, V'haya ka'ara ba'arava v'lo yira ki yavo tov v'shachan charerim v'midbar eretz malecha v'lo seishev. And he shall be like an isolated tree in an arid land, and shall not see when good comes. He shall dwell on parched soil in the wilderness, on a salted land uninhabited. Aval, however, kol shemasav berubim mechach maso, whoever's deeds are more than his wisdom, l'mahu doma, what is he similar to? Le'ilan sha'anav of muatim v'shash of merubim, a tree whose branches are few and its roots are many. Shafilu kol harucha sheba'olam bos v'noshvos bo, even if all the winds in the world come and blow, ein mezizno somim koma, will not move. Shenemar, as it says, v'haya ke'eit shasal al pagim mayim, shasal al mayim, excuse me, v'al yuval yishalach shrasha v'lo yira ki yavo chom, v'haya aleyo ra'anan, u'b'shnas batzores lo yidag v'lo yamish me'asos pri. And he shall be like a tree planted by waters toward the stream, spreading its roots, and it shall not notice the heat's arrival, and its foliage shall be fresh in the years of drought. It shall not worry, nor shall it cease from yielding fruit. Now, let's see what Rabeinu Yonah has to say and explain everything we just read. What does it mean if there's no Torah, there's no midos? Klomar, that is to say, Misha Eini Yodea Torah, someone who doesn't know Torah, Eino Shalem b'midos shel derech eretz. He doesn't have, he can't be complete in his midos, his good character traits of derech eretz. Kirov hamidos hatova shebedarchei ha'olam, because most of the good character traits that are in the world, but Torahim, they're found in the Torah. So it's saying, people say, I'm a good person, and they don't put in any effort to learn what does it mean to be a good person. We can't just say that I'm a good person and not actually learn how does God define what a good person is. I may define what a good person is different from God. I would rather be a person that God thinks is a good person. And how do we know who God thinks is a good person? By what he said in the Torah. In the Torah it says what it is to be a good person. Kimo, for example, ha'ave ta'avitanu. For example, that a person is a mitzvah to lend someone money who needs money. Or ha'anek taniklo, there's a mitzvah if a person would own a slave and send him away, he would have to give him gifts. Ma'oznet tzedek avnet tzedek, a person has a store and he has scales to measure things, he has to make sure that the scales are right and just. And many, many things like this. A person who doesn't have Torah cannot be full in derech eretz, cannot have fully good character traits. Okay. But on the other hand, it says, "Im derech eretz ein Torah." That means to say, before you start learning Torah, you already have to start fixing your character traits. And then the Torah will dwell with you. The Torah doesn't dwell in a person who doesn't have good character traits. Lo she'ilma Torah v'achar כך yikach lo midos. He shouldn't think that, oh, I'll study Torah now and then I'll try to become a good person after. That's impossible. This is like what it says, Nasa v'nishma. When the Jews accepted the Torah, it says we will do and we will hear. Like we wrote earlier in Mishnah Tes. Okay. Then we said, Im ein chachma ein yira. If there's no wisdom, there's no fear. She'ein yira shlema b'lo chachma. A person can't be truly afraid of Hashem unless he is wise. Because that wisdom teaches a person how to go in the correct path. But if there's no fear, there's no wisdom. You have to have fear of Hashem before wisdom. I mean, you have to hold Hashem in awe and take seriously what God is and what we're here for and what we should be doing. If you don't have that attitude, your wisdom isn't going to last by you. Here we're talking about real wisdom, Torah wisdom. We're not talking about knowing math or something like that. We're talking about Torah wisdom. Because if you don't have the fear of Hashem and you start learning Torah, eventually you're going to be repulsed by what the Torah has to say. You can't just learn Torah as an intellectual exercise, as an academic pursuit, without having it try to change you for the better. If a person doesn't first work on perfecting his character traits, and he learns Torah with that in mind, why is there money in the hand of a fool to acquire wisdom when there is no understanding in his heart? To fulfill the word of Hashem. Fear of Hashem has to precede Torah learning and has to come with Torah learning. So that doesn't mean also that we should sit and spend a few years becoming better people, then start learning Torah, because we also learned im ein Torah ein yir. If there's no Torah, if ein chachma ein yir, if there's no wisdom, there's no fear of Hashem. We have to be doing it together. We have to be, one, studying Torah, and also working on our character traits. So how do we work on our character traits? So a good way to start is by learning what's called a Musar Sefer. A Musar Sefer is a book that was written by very holy people who had already perfected their character traits, who were known to be very righteous. And they wrote a very practical way to acquire good character traits and how to become a better person in our interaction with God and our interactions with other people. The most famous one, which I would recommend everyone to start with, is called Mesilas Yesharim, The Path of the Just. If anyone has any questions about where to get a good edition or how to order it, please let me know and I'd be more than happy to guide you there. Okay. And then we said, Im ein das ein bina. So what are these different, we use these words, Chachma, Bina, and Das. What are the different interpretations? They're all types of wisdom. What are the different interpretations of these wisdom? Shalosh mochos hen. There are three types, it says three brains or three types of knowledge. Mechlakim l'shlosh dvarim. They're split up into three things. L'chachma u'tvuna v'das. Chachma. What's chachma? Mashalom and mecher. That's something you learn from other people. That's wisdom you learn from other people. Tevuna, understanding. Motzi davar mitoch davar b'dimyan. Understanding, or bina, means that I take different ideas and I use the knowledge that I have to ponder and to contemplate, and using the knowledge I already have and through contemplation I come up with a deeper understanding and I come up with more ideas. Hadas, masha masik midaito. And das is not what I learn from others, but what I learn from myself. What I'm able to comprehend on my own. V'zehu she'amar, this is what it says in the Mishnah. Im ein das, ein bina. If a person doesn't have das, if a person can't even think on his own, then he's not going to be able to think even deeper, to contemplate and come to deeper ideas, because he can't even do the first step. Das kodemus labina, because das comes before bina. Ubelow das, and without das, shalios labina. It's impossible to have understanding. And the other way also, im ein bina ein das, im ein bo koach lahavin hadavar medimyan. If a person can't use his imagination to understand the deeper meaning of things, machma she'ein lo das shlema lahasig v'ladas itzuma shel davar, because he doesn't have a full das. And he says the das is the main thing. Im ein kamach ein Torah. If there is no bread, there is no Torah. Lefi shetzarech lehishtadel achar parnasaso. A person has to make a living. Ve'en yachal asik b'Torah. And he can't just study Torah if he doesn't have a way to support himself. But on the other hand, the main Torah, main kamach. If there's no Torah, there's no bread. Kloimar, ma'ach she'ein bo Torah, ein toelas hakemach, ola biyado. She'ein adam moel be'ashro, ela kadesh yut sarchi gufo mitzuyin v'yelo p'nai la'osik b'Torah. But in other words, if there's no Torah, there's no bread. Meaning, Why does a person work for a living? What's the point? The point is that so he can sustain himself in order to study Torah, in order to do mitzvahs. If a person is just working for a living without any spiritual goal in his life, there's no point. The Mishnah says there's no point. Okay, and then we have the last line here. We quoted about a call, Shechach Masav Ruben Masav, and vice versa, and the Rabeinu Yonah just directs us earlier. He says, Ukvar B'yarna Dvar Malalu Perek Zeh Be'inyin Kol Shiras Chatu Kodem L'Chach Masav. This is something that we discussed already earlier in the chapter. And with that, we finish and wish everyone a beautiful evening.